Joe, Sleepy Joe.
Who deserve help and paid for most of it. You know, my great friend, he is a great friend, Governor O'Malley. My dad, the Biden family, started off in Baltimore. They don't say Baltimore, it's Baltimore, in Baltimore. But we've been friends for a long time. And I just want to say at the outset, if you ever want anybody on your team, whether it's an athletic team, whether you're in a battle, whether it's a political team, whether it's a team just trying to help, you want O'Malley. The guy has guts. No, I mean this sincerely. He not only has political courage, he has physical courage. He's across the board. If ever want anybody standing next to me, I want O'Malley there with me. And I mean that sincerely. It really matters.
Biden has not changed one bit. Still Biden.
You know, I always kid Maryland because Delaware, the second smallest state, we share the eastern shore of Maryland with Maryland. But we're close friends. And folks, you know, it's no surprise that he did a hell of a job when I asked him to be commissioner of the Social Security. And the reason I did that is not an ordinary transition for a governor. But I knew, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I knew we needed someone with some guts, some toughness, who'd fight for every single penny that it needed, that would try to restore the integrity of the system. And to everyone here today, I want to thank you, all of you, very much for this award. It means a great deal to me coming from you. And I mean that sincerely. It means a great deal. You're in the front lines every single day. You're helping, you're advocating for your fellow Americans, Americans with disability. It's a big deal. We talk about what happened to the physical side of it if we didn't have Social Security. Think of what the psychic calm it gives so many people who just don't know where to go, don't know how to traverse what needs to be done, or alone.
Is it me or does it sound like he's whispering? I know we're doing this a little fast, but as he's speaking a little slow, but is it me or does it sound like he's still whispering? Saying everything he's saying, he's whispering. I mean it. I mean, really, no, seriously. Everything he's saying, he's whispering. Is it me or am I tripping?
Last fall, on the White House lawn, we celebrate the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. As a United States Senator 400 years ago, I was looking back on it. God almighty, I've been doing this 50 years. It's hell turning 4 years old, anyway. But back in the year 1990, I was a co-sponsor of the Americans with Disabilities Act as a United States Senator. In my view, and I suspect many of you, it was one of the most consequential civil rights laws in American history. That's what got me involved in politics in the first place. Delaware, like Maryland, was one of those states, was a slave state. We had all the vestiges of what was going on back in the day. We were one of those states that still, I remember moving from Scranton, Pennsylvania down to Wilmington, Delaware, and Cole died. My dad moved back to where we could get a job. And I remember I pulled into, my mom would drive us on the Philadelphia Pike connecting Wilmington and Philadelphia. And we lived in an apartment complex. And she'd drive us it was only about half a mile to Holy Rosary School in Claymont. But it was so dangerous, she wouldn't let us walk up because of Access Road. And I remember pulling into the parking lot. And I'd never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time, and I was only going in 4th grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by. They never turned right to go to Claymont High School. I wondered why. I asked my mom, why? So in Delaware, they're not allowed to go to school, in public school, with white kids, honey. That sparked my sense of outrage as a kid, just like it does. I mean, and these young kids right here can tell you things affect them when they learn about something that's really just unfair and unjust. You know, my dad was an honorable man.
He's been around, man.
And my dad used to have an expression. He said, Joey, your job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, that's what you're all about. That's what the legislation's about. It's about dignity. Simple dignity. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their standing, regardless of economic situation, regardless of who they are. Making sure that more than 60 million Americans who are living with disabilities are treated with dignity is who we are as Americans. That's what it's about. I mean it.
You just start yelling at people.
Dignity at work, at school, in their communities, in every corner of American life. Laws like the ADA need advocates like you. You're the ones that keep it going, God love you. You fight like hell every single day to make sure the law is respected and your clients' rights are protected. So from the bottom of my heart, I mean this. I give you my word as a Biden. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your commitment to the dignity of all Americans, because that's what ultimately this is about. Folks, today I want to talk to you about an issue that's front and center right now for millions of Americans, Social Security. You know, some of you may know the Democrats have declared today to save Social Security National Action Day, National Day of Action, I should say. We know just how much Social Security matters to people's lives. Everyone in this room fights for people with disabilities who rely on Social Security to survive, to survive. Not just the physical side, it's the mental side. It's the mental side. You make sure folks get the benefits they earn after a lifetime of hard work. The work they do is more than just a profession, what you do. It's a calling. It's not just a profession. And Social Security is more than a government program. It's a sacred promise. We made it today, a sacred promise. 73 million Americans receive Social Security.
I feel like when he's reading off this teleprompter, it's telling him which parts to raise his voice at, because it's in random spots that he's doing it, and the spots ain't really the spots where he should be raising his voice. Like, we could hear his story, we could hear his argument or whatever, but the yelling and the raising of the eyebrows and the firmness, and where was this for the past 4 years? Like, you did a lot of whispering. Now you out here talking with your chest up. I'm confused. I'm actually confused. I'm literally genuinely confused, because we haven't seen you since you left off. It's your first speech back. You know, we're glad that you're still here. We're glad that you're still alive and walking and breathing and talking and doing Joe Biden things. But why are you yelling? Are you mad? If you're mad, I understand, but why are you yelling about speech about Social Security? I could understand if you was yelling about something you wanted to say about the other side or something, but you're yelling about people on Social Security. I'm a little confused. I really am. Let's continue.
From their first paycheck for their entire life, they pay into Social Security. In return, they count on Social Security to be for them when they're going to need it. Folks, must never, ever betray that trust or turn our backs on that obligation. That's why during my presidency, we protected Social Security and made it stronger. Martin, the governor, can tell you. We came into office, Social Security Administration had its lowest staffing, she referenced it, lowest staffing levels in 50 years. And demand was going through the roof because of my generation and the baby boom generation, reaching the retirement age. So the demands on Social Security increased significantly. Our administration secured nearly $2 billion to reduce the backlogs and improve customer service. We slashed wait times for folks in need. We're calling the 1-800 number. We got it down to under 13 minutes. It used to be 3 times that long when we took office. We made it easier for people to get help with their claims online. We reduced how long it takes to review a case. We fixed the appeal system to make it uniform in all 50 states, which made a difference. We strengthened the anti-fraud measures to protect people's identities and to make sure benefits are going to people who actually they belong to. By the way, those 300-year-old folk getting that Social Security, I want to meet them because I like to figure out how they live that. Hell of a thing, man. I'm looking for longevity because it's hell when you turn 40 years old. But as a result, by the time we left office, we had improved every single line of customer service, from applying for disability to filing an appeal to reporting fraud. It all became more efficient and more effective. And I'll bet it made your jobs easier, too, in the process. Now, these achievements may not sound so glamorous to most people, but you know, they're absolutely essential. And might be one of the most important jobs of any elected official is to make sure the government works for the people, works for all people. It's understandable. They can understand what it is. And then we keep our promises to the people, to all the people. That's exactly what we did, thanks to all of you. I also signed into law the Social Security Fairness Act. That act eliminated 2 unfair rules, so public employees wouldn't get shortchanged. The government pension offset and the windfall elimination provision can never come in ever again. So as a result, more than 2 million people are now finally receiving the full benefits they earned. And remember, we also faced a constant threat by some members, Republican members of Congress, to cut and gut Social Security, period. Cut and gut it, period. They wanted to let Social Security expire every 5 years. That was the proposal. Let it expire every 5 years unless reauthorized by the Congress. Who in the hell do they think they are? Every 5 years and then wait around and be... no. I will not go further or get in trouble, but look, folks. You can imagine the chaos it would have charged. Every 5 years, Congress is going to step up. You imagine this Congress stepping up? They threatened to raise the retirement age as well. Now, that might not be a hardship, for someone working in a comfortable job. But if you're on your feet all day, you're doing manual labor all day, you're working with a disability, it's a very different matter. And then they even tried to face cuts, forced cuts on Social Security during the negotiation of the debt ceiling. These are wonderful guys. Last time this guy had the job, he raised the debt ceiling because of an enormous and profligate tax cut to the super wealthy. And then he said, look, then they started talking to his colleagues. Well, maybe we can do something about Social Security, but we got to do something about the debt ceiling. How are we going to do? We can find the money in Social Security. Unless we do what they wanted. They wanted to cut Social Security. Not on my watch. We refused to go along with any of that. Look, Americans have always been able to count on these benefits. And let me pause a second here and say this. We talk about the physical needs that Social Security provides for people, particularly hardworking people, people retired, people on the edge. But the psychological impact is profound. Profound. You're a man or a woman, you're 70 years old, you're not in good shape, you have a disability, and you hear the check may not come. How do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night? We lived up in Wilmington in a 3-bedroom, split-level home in a new development, 40 homes, with 4 kids and a grandpa living with us. And I remember our headboard was near my dad's and mom's room. And you could tell when Dad was restless. I remember asking one night my mom, what's the matter with Dad? The next morning, she just found out that we're not going to provide insurance anymore where he works. Well, imagine if you're somebody who's been struggling your whole life. You're literally counting on Social Security to buy your food, just to get by. And you hear the threats about what may happen. Many of these beneficiaries, that's their only income. If they were cut or taken away, it'd be devastating. Devastating.
This is a whole speech on Social Security. Whole speech. That's all I'm hearing. I haven't heard anything else but protect Social Security. That's it. We waited 3 months to hear from Joe Biden, the last leader of the Democratic Party, last president of the Democratic Party. And he gets up here. He made one funny joke, can't lie. He gets up here and all he talks about for a good 10 to 15 minutes is Social Security. Out of all the things, Social Security is still going on. Nothing has changed with Social Security. Out of all the things he's talking about is Social Security. And I get it. It's a big topic. It should be talked about. Don't get me wrong. But had 90 days to come up with a speech. And that's all you're talking about. Not talking about immigration, talking about the economy, talking about inflation, talking about egg prices, just Social Security.
For millions of people. And the psychological pressure we put people under by having this debate is absolutely devastating. That's why we work so damn hard to make Social Security Administration stronger than it's been in years. And that's why I asked the governor to take over, by the way. But look what's happened now. Fewer than 100 days, this new administration has made done so much damage and so much destruction. It's kind of breathtaking it could happen that soon. They've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration, pushing an additional 7,000 employees, 7,000 out the door in that time, including the most seasoned career officials. Now they're getting ready to push thousands more out the door. Already we can see the effects. For example, thousands of people use the Social Security website every single day to check on their benefits and submit their claims. But now, the technology division of Social Security Administration has been cut in half. And so the website's crashing. People can't sign on to their accounts. What do you think it does to that woman living alone at 74 years checking, just not able to even find out whether, she can't even find out what that disability claim she had. She can't file a new disability claim. And a lot of these people are being told incorrectly that their benefits have ended. Folks, imagine the panic that causes if you're a retiree living alone with only Social Security to depend upon. So now people are overwhelming the phone lines. They're showing up at the local Social Security office, tearful and frantic, and told, do you have an appointment? In that tone, by the way. I can give you a personal example if I'm not going to, though. To cap it all off, serious people are now generally concerned for the first time in history, for the first and only time in history, that Social Security benefits may be delayed or interrupted. Folks, let's put this in perspective. In the 90 years since Franklin Roosevelt created the Social Security system, people have always gotten their Social Security checks. They've gotten them during wartime, during recessions, during a pandemic, no matter what, they got them. But now, for the first time ever, that might change. It would be a calamity for millions of families, millions of people. The current Secretary of Commerce doesn't seem to get it. Or based on his comments, he doesn't seem to even care.
All right. I'm done. I'm done. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. I really like to know y'all thoughts. If y'all did want to see the full speech from Joe Biden, you guys can definitely check that out on MSNBC, their YouTube channel. They have the whole speech. But I really wanted to say this about Joe Biden. As much as we made fun of him and as much as we laughed and had a good time reacting to Joe Biden, it is definitely good to see him, still being able to walk, talk, crack a little bit of jokes, say a little bit of how he feels still, because a lot of people counted him out. A lot of people abandoned him when he needed them the most. And even though he was going to lose regardless, he went out kind of sad. So, kudos to him for bouncing back and having the courage to come back on a platform and give a speech. He's still the same old Sleepy Joe. Nothing much has changed. But we do like to see that he is nice and well and he's doing his thing still. Let me know y'all thoughts about this down in the comments below. I don't personally think that Social Security is going anywhere, and in my opinion also, and the way I was raised, to be honest with you, I was raised to not depend on the government. So if it does go away, I in my honest opinion, that's not my retirement plan. Just be honest with you. My retirement plan is going to be of what I invested throughout my years of living and not what the government chooses to give me at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. Let me know y'all thoughts. I appreciate y'all viewership. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on y'all way out. Till next time. It's your boy Dgotsauce. Peace. Shout outs to today's sponsor, the Snacks.shop. They have a variety of snacks, and I'm telling you right now, guys, they smack. All right, this is my third bag. All right, third bag. Thank you for everything you guys sent to me from the Snacks.shop. I appreciate y'all care package. Today's sponsor, make sure you guys go check them out. They have some dope snacks, and I can't lie, man. It's busting. I'm going to get some more of these. I promise you. These are the Korean chicken. Korean chicken, like literally. Check out their website. Go cop something, man. Let them know that Dgotsauce sent you. And thank you again to today's sponsor, the Snacks.shop.